Jai Sri Ram. By giving my respectful obedience unto the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Sri Ram, Lord Sri Jagannath, we will start the story of Ramayana. Part 1 Betrayed. Chapter 1 King Dasaratha Logging. The chapter 1 is started like this. King Dasaratha placed his palace balcony. His handsome brow was furrowed in a pensive mood. He surveyed the scene around him. People thronged the inner courtyard below. Feudal kings and princes come with their retinue to pay tribute. From his seventh-story terrace, Dasaratha could see much of his city, which stretched to the horizon in all directions. Crowds of citizens moved along the well-planned roads, which were interspersed with mango groves and orchards. The broad central highway, built entirely of red stone, ran the full 100-mile length of the city. L- Large white mansions lined that road, with many colored peanuts waving in the breeze on their roofs. The road was sprinkled with perfumed water and strewn with flowers. Above the city, the king could see the golden aeroplanes of Apsara, the consort of the gods. Looking out over this capital, Ajodhya, Dasaratha was plunged in an ocean of anguish. He entered the palace and walked slowly towards his inner chambers. As he descended the wide marble stairways, he heard his priests chanting sacred Sanskrit text. The sound of mantras mingled with that drums and lutes being beautifully played by the royal musicians. Even that sound, which normally gave him so much joy, could not pleasant him. The king entered his room, leaving his personal guard at the door, declining the food and drink offered to him by his maidservants. He went over the large latticed window. He moved aside the silk drapes and continued gazing out at his city. Ajodhya had been constructed by Manu, a son of Surya, the all-powerful sun god. Manu had been the first of the king of Dasaratha line, all of them empires of the globe. As he thought of his long ancestry, the king only felt more pain. He sighed and turned back into his rooms. Seeing the anxious king, his three queens tried gentle to console him. They sat him on a large golden couch covered with silk pillow and stood with gems. His senior wife, Kausalya, gently massaged his feet, while Sumitra and Kaikeyi fanned him with snow white charmer whisks. The king sat lost in thought. He looked at the ex- ex- exquisite, exquisite covering the gods lining his walls. All his life had been done so much to please those deities. Once he had even gone into the battle against the celestial demons on their behalf. Surely they would help him now. Dasaratha silently prayed to them. While the king sat absorbed in his thought and prayers, a messenger came telling him that his chief priest Vaishishta was now present in the assembly hall. Dasaratha had been waiting for this news. He rose up and with the giant of the powerful lions went along the wide palace passageways. His large sword swinging at his side and his gold ornaments juggling as he walked. Near to the hall, he was joined by his chief ministers. All of them were heroes who had been tried in battle, and all were learned and wise. The state ran smoothly under their expert administration. There were no citizens without employment and no criminals left unchecked. The ministers were devoted to Dasaratha's service, and as they walked, they considered the problem facing the king. Flanked by his bodyguards and ministers, Dasaratha entered his great hall. It began it in splendor with the assembly hall of Indra, the king of gods. Massive marble pillars rose up to a roof which seemed to reach the sky. Balcony of the alvester and coral, worked with gold filigree. We are gradually tiered all around the hall. Along the balcony were gold seats spread with white cushions, large silk tapestry depicting the pastime of the god hung, hung from the walls, which were lined with leaves, lilac and encrusted with jewels. The air was filled with the scent of incense. In the center of the hall sat numerous priests who continuously chanted prayers from the ancient scriptures, invoking the presence of deities. The great mega drum resounded deeply as Dasaratha stood towards his seat. Everyone stood and there was a cry of victory. All glories to Emperor Dasaratha. The king, appearing like a god, took his seat on a large throne of refined gold bedecked with, with brilliant celestial gems. A horse descended on the assembly of Dasaratha prepared to speak. Everyone sat in acceptation. The citizen knew of the king worry. They loved him like a father and shared his anxiety. They were grouped in the hall according to their class. At the front were the Brahmin, wearing simple clothes and holding their water pots and prayer beads. On one side sat the warrior, their powerful bodies clad in silks and gold ornaments, with long swords hanging from their belts. Near to them were the trade peoples in their colorful dress, and behind them were the servants and workers, also beautifully adorned. All social classes were present in the assembly. Dasaratha looked around the hall, smiling affectionately at everyone. Although the king was preoccupied with his worry, no one could detect in him any negligence or laxity in his duties. Seeing him smiling at them, the people felt reassured that Dasaratha would find a solution to his problem. They sat awaiting his speech. Placing his hand on his golden scepter, The king turns to his chief priest Vaishishta, who sat on a raised seat near the throne. With a powerful voice that bloomed around the hall, Dasaratha addressed the priest. I have called this assembly to settle a great warrior of mine. As you know, this wide earth has for a long time been held under the sway of a victorious king in my line. O jewel among sages, is that glorious history about to end? What can I do to ensure that your proud lineage will continue? Dasaratha was perturbed that he had on no son, having ruled a undistributed disputed empire of the earth of thousands of years. His retirement was now approaching, but there was no one to succeed him. Somehow, none of his wife had given birth to a son. The king had called for a full assembly to propose an idea he had considering. He needed the approval of the Brahmins and he wanted the consent of his people. Dasaratha looked anxiously at Vaishishta, who was both his priest and preceptors. O learned one, you know well the perils that attends a kingdom bereft of a monarch. How can I retire to the forest leaving these walls without a protector? Vaishishta sat surrounded by many other Brahmin sages. He hand rested upon his staff as he listened to Dasaratha. The sun shone through the carved latticed window of the hall, covering the king with golden light. Vaishishta singing with his own mystic power appeared like a second sun as he replied to the king. O Empire, I have no doubt that you will soon be blessed with a powerful son who can succeed you. Not long ago, not long ago, I heard this told by Sanat Kumar, the immortal sage who roams the universe. A divine arrangement is being worked by the gods for your everlasting benefit. My sister, my sister lived in a hermitage outside the city. He was frequently visited the wandering sages and mystics. Some days previously, the famous seer Sanat Kumar, who always appears like a young boy, had spoken with Vasishta. He told him that soon four powerful sons would be born to the empire. These sons would be divine incarnations, appear to fulfill the purpose of the god. Vasishta continue. The Brahmins have all been praying to the Lord for your sake. O monarch, we have seen Asperus sing in the heavens. It is clear that some great plan of the Supreme will be achieved through you. The king felt joy to hear this priest word like his forebears before him. Dasaratha had religiously pursued his duties as emperor under his benevolent, rule. The world enjoyed prosperity and peace. The king desired not only the immediate material enjoyment of his people but their spiritual well being as well. He kept everyone on the path of our priestly and truth, leading them towards freedom from the cycle of birth and death, seeing all the people as his own children. He was concerned that their happiness would continue after his retirement. He spoke again. I have been considering the performance of a horse sacrifice for the pleasure of the gods and Vishnu. O noble sages, will this be successful? Can I satisfy the Lord in this way and thereby attain my desire end? Dasaratha. Dasaratha knew that nothing could be achieved unless Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, was pleased. Although they control the universe, the other gods were but Vishnu agents. Many times in the past, king's ancestor had performed great sacrifice of satisfying the Lord and achieving their purpose. The king now considered this to be his only mean of deliverance. He looked hopefully at Vasishtha, who had been speaking with the other sage at his side. Turning towards the king, Vasishtha said, "We are in argument, agreement. We are in agreement, O tiger among men. Let the sacrifice proceed. We shall immediately prepare a ground on the bank of Sarayu. You will certainly get a son by this method." Assembly erupted with joyful shouts. Everywhere were cries of "Let it be so. Let the sacrifice proceed." The king, his eyes grown wide with delight as he anticipated the fulfillment of his desire, said to Vaishishta, "Let the preparation begin today. Protected by 400 of my best warriors, the sacrificial horse will roam the globe before returning for the sacrifice." After Dasaratha had issued all necessary instruction, the assembly was dismissed and the king retired to his inner chambers. Together with his wives, he worshipped Vishnu and the Lords, praying that his sacrifice would succeed. The whole city of Ajodhya was filled with excitement as the news of the king's sacrifice spread. In the large public squares, minstrels sang songs recounting the exploit of a hero in Dasaratha line, while a troop of a female dancers depicted the tales with a precise and beautiful gestures. The temple becomes crowded with joyful people praying for the success of Dasaratha sacrifice from the balcony of a house lining the wide avenues. Wealthy people threw down gems for the Brahmin and the jewels sprinkled brightly on the clean paved road. The city resonated with the sound of lutes, trumpets, and cattle drums, augmenting the music was chanting of Brahmins reciting the holy scripture with flag and pennants flying, festoons hanging between the house and flowers strewn everywhere. Ajodhya had the appearance of a festival held by the gods in heaven. The priests of the Ajodhya set about preparing for the sacrifice, selecting and concentrating a pure wood horse which was free from any blessing. They released it to range freely across the country. As it traveled, it was followed and protected by 400 powerful generals from the king's army. According to the rituals, wherever the horse went, the residing rulers were called upon to attend the sacrifice and they pay homage to Dasaratha. Anyone refusing would be immediately challenged to a fight. If they were not subjugated, then the sacrifice could not proceed. None, however, wished. the emperor any ill. The horse came back to Ajodhya without incident at the end of the 1 year. Seeing the horse return, Dasaratha called Vasishtha. He touched his guru's feet and asked him with all humanity, O Holy One, if you deemed it fit, please now commence the sacrifice. You are my dearest friend as well as my guru. Indeed, you are a highly exalted soul, fully depending on you. I am confident of the sacrifice outcome. After assuring the king, Vaishishta spoke with the priests, instructing them to have a sacrificial arena built. Chief among them was Rishav Shrigha, a powerful Brahmin who had come from the kingdom of Agya. It had long ago been prophesied that Rishwasriga would help Dasaratha obtain progeny. progeny. Along with Vasishtha, he took charge of the arrangements for the sacrifice. Vasishtha ordered that many white marble palaces could be constructed for the monarch who would attend. The very best food and drinks were made available, and actors and dancers come to entertain the guests. Horse stable, elephant stalls, and vast dormitories to accommodate thousands of people were built. Vasishtha instructed the king ministers. Everyone should have whatever they desire. Take care that no one is disrespected at any time, even under the impulse of passion or anger. Vasishtha spoke to the king's charioteers and ministers, Sumantra, who was especially close to Dasaratha. We have invited kings from all over the globe. On behalf of the empire, you should personally ensure that they are all properly received. Take particular care of celebrated King Janaka, the heroic and truthful ruler of Mithila, who with my inner vision I can see that he will in the future becomes intimately related to your house. Soon my king come to Ajodhya wearing valuable gifts of jewelers, pearls, clothing, and golden ornaments. Upon their arrival, they in turn were offered gifts at Vasishtha command, who had instructed his assistants, give freely to all. No gift should ever be made with disrespect or irrelevance. For such beguarding, gorging gifts will uh, doubtlessly bring ruin to the giver. The royal astrologer uh, ascertained the most favorable day of the commencement of the sacrifice. Dasaratha, headed by Vasishtha and Sringa, and accomplished by his three wives, then come to the sacrificial compound with reassembled an assembly of the god. Many fires blazed, each dedicated to a different deity and attended by numerous Brahmins. The great compound was crowded with sages absorbed in prayer and meditation. On all sides stood warriors equipped with every kind of weapons, full alert to any danger. The king sat surrounded by Brahmins who concentrate him for the sacrifice. He and his wives made offering into the fires and joined in the chanting of a prayer. After some day, the horse was brought before the sacrificial fire dedicated to Vishnu. Learned priest constantly poured into the oblations of sacrifice butter along with a handful of grain. Taking the horse by its reins, Vasishtha uttered a powerful mantra and the animal fell unconscious. It was immediately placed upon the fire as the horse was consumed by the blazing fire. Those with divine vision saw the soul of the creature rise from the fire, glowing brilliantly and ascend towards heaven. As the sacrifice concluded, Dasaratha was delighted. He said to the priest, according to the ordinance, it is fitting that I now bestow upon your proper charity. Therefore, O Holy One, take this entire earth as a gift. This is the only appropriate offering for the great soul like yourselves. The priest replied, you alone are able to protect the earth with its countless people. As ascetics, with we having nothing to do with this with the world, nor are we able to maintain it. Therefore, we leave it with you, O monarch. The Brahmins had no interest in wealth, but wished only to live simply, unencumbered by material possessions. However, Dasaratha understood that unless charity were given to the priest, the sacrifice was not complete. Falling at the Brahmin's feet, he implored, if you refuse my gift, then the success of my endeavor is most uncertain. The priest quickly raised of the king. They understood the scripture injunction to which the king alluded. If it is so pleases you, then you may give to us a little wealth. We have no use for the earth. The king distributed to Brahmins hundreds of millions of gold and silver coins, as well as millions of milk bearing cows. He supplied 10,000s of Brahmin present at the sacrifice with enough wealth to last their entire life. Vaishishthya and Rishwasringa then arranged for one final ritual to perform. They called the god by name to come and accept the sacrificial offering made to them. The celestial smoke from the offerings, sanctified by Vedic mantras, rose upwards to the skies and was received by the god. With the universal creator Brahma at their head, they personally assembled with the sky above Dasaratha's sacrificial compound. Unseen by everyone, the gods began to address Brahma. Because of boons gentle by you, O Lord, the king of Rakshasa Ravana is constantly harassing us and is extremely difficult to overpower. Having begged from you that he be made invincible to us, as well as to particularly all other created beings. The evil-minded one now seeks to overthrow us. He profanes even great saints and he has no regards for anyone at all. Brahma was concerned that his boon to Ravan had created such problem. L- Listened as Indra on behalf of the gods. Continued, Ravana sought invisibility but did not ask for immunity against humans whom he is considered of no consequences. Thus, his death must come at the hands of a human. Please, therefore, beseech the Lord to appear as Dasaratha's son. Although Ravana could still be killed by a human, the gods knew that no ordinary man could slay him. It could only be done by a all-powerful Vishnu himself. If he came to the earth as a man, and here was the ideal opportunity. The empire of the earth was praying to Vishnu for a powerful son. Surely the Lord would consent to appear the Dasaratha family, especially if Brahma Vishnu devoted servant also prayed to him to appear. Brahma assented to the god's request, though he knew that the time for the Lord's appearance had come. Seated in meditation, Brahma thought of the Lord within his heart. At that moment, Vishnu appears in the sky. Only the god saw him as he descended upon the back of his eagle carrier, Garuda. His beautiful body was blackish and his shone with a brilliant luster. He was dressed in yellow silk with a garland of blue lotus. A necklace of bright celestial gems hung around his neck, adorned with numerous gold ornaments and jewels. He held his four-handed a uh, a conch shell, a mash, a tissues, open and weapons, and a lotus flower. Gracefully descending, he sat amid the gods as they worshipped him with hymns and prayers. Brahma addressed Vishnu in a reverential tone. O Lord, here is the worthy Dhritarashtra praying for a son. All the words are sorely afflicted by the evil Rakshasa Ravana, who must be slain by a man. Be pleased, therefore, to take a bath as Dasaratha's son, appearing in a human form. Please dispatch Ravana in an encounter and save the world from their suffering. Vishnu smiled at the gods. He spoke reassuringly in a voice deeply like the rumbling of a thunder clouds. O gods, give up all fear. Along with my own expansion, I shall soon be born as a poor son of Dasaratha. I myself shall appear as his eldest son, and my personal weapons will incarnate as my brothers. After annihilating Ravana and his demon hordes, I will remain on the mortal plane, ruling the globe for 11,000 years. The inconceivable Vishnu then disappeared even as he was being worshipped. The gods felt their purpose was accomplished, and they, after accepting the Dasaratha offering, they returned to the heavens. In the sacrificial compound, the rituals were most over. Dasaratha sat except expectantly, hoping for some sign of success. He was apprehensive. If he could not obtain a son by this method, then he would surely be lost. He looked at the blazing fire as the last offering were being made. Suddenly there arose from the sacrificial fire a shining and beautiful personality form. Everyone watched in wonder as he descended near the king, remaining sighting above the ground. In his hands he held a gold blow filled with celestial ambrosia. He spoke to Dasaratha in a voice resounding like a cattle drum. O king, know me to be the messenger of the Lord of all created being Vishnu. Please accept my heartfelt welcome, O divine me one, replied the king with the palms joined. Palms joined. What shall I do for you? By worshipping the god in sacrifice, you have received this reward, said the messenger. Take now this ambrosia prepared by the gods who will bestow upon you the offspring you desire. Give it to your wives, and through them you will soon see your for celebrated son. Accepting the ambrosia with his head bent uh, low and saying, "So be it." The king felt a surge of joy as he took the golden vessel, even as people would feel happiness upon suddenly gaining great wealth. As a mark of respect, the king walked with folded hand around the messenger who, having discharged his duty, immediately vanished into the fire from which he had appeared. The king stood in amazement, holding the blow. All around him, the Brahmins cried out, "Victory! Victory!" After offering his prostrate prostrate obeisance to the Vasishtha, Dasaratha left the sacrifice along with his wife and returned to his palace. The king gives half of the embryos to Kausalya. He gave other half to Kaikeyi and the youngest wife who was especially dear to him. Both of these wives each gave a part of their share to the king's third wife Sumitra. All those noble wives of the empire felt honored and immediately ate the ambrosia. In a short time, they felt within themselves the presence of powerful offsprings. Their minds were enlivened by the divine energy of the children inside their wombs, and they felt elated. Dasaratha, who had at last attained his desired object, felt as delighted as Indra, the king of a god in the heaven. Having decided to incarnate in this Dasaratha family, Vishnu summoned the gods and commanded them, "Soon my advent upon earth will occur. Assisted by all of you, I will cross the despicable Ravana foolishly, the evil one did not ask immunity for human or animals, considering both to be the entirely powerless in the face of his strength. As promised, I will descend as a human. O gods, without leaving your post as universal controllers, you are capable of expanding yourself onto the earth. You should therefore appear in the world as powerful monkeys. Vishnu planned for the protection of the world as unfolding. The gods took birth as monkeys who had strength equal to their godly power. They were assumed various form at will. They were gallant, as swift as the wind, highly intelligent and particularly invulnerable in battle. The earth became populated with millions of monkeys who, in the way of the god, grew up as soon as they were born, as hugly and strong as lion and tigers. They roared loudly and sprang about fearlessly. They were headed by Bali, the expansion of Indra, and by Sugriva, the expansion of Surya, pure, pureful in appearance. They trod the peak of a mountain and reside in great forests. When they come together, they appear like mass of a cloud moving about on the surface of the globe. So this is the chapter one where L- Dasaratha, King Dasaratha, giving his sacrifice for the great history. Jai Jagannath, Jai Sri Krishna.